Thanks for joining us again on AmmoLand TV. I'm Graham Baates. Today we've brought up the caliber wars. 9mm versus 380. Is it worth it? And what is the real difference between the two? That's what we're taking a look at today. So what you're looking at here is a lineup of 5 loads of 9mm and 5 loads of 380. Wanted to compare the two. The challenge is, how do you find guns that are actually comparable? They need to have the same barrel length, they need to have the same locking system, and as far as shooter's perception, it's got to have the same grip. There are very few guns on the market that fit that. We've got the SCCYs, which have the Browning style or a modified Browning locking block setup, quad lock as SCCY calls it, but exact same grip size and feel, exact same barrel length. And we have the Walther CCPs, which are a gas delayed piston or piston gas delayed system. Identical, so identical in fact it's sometimes difficult to tell the difference between the two of them. So that gives us a fair 9 versus 380 in 2 different sets of guns, 2 different operating systems, 2 different hand feels. For testing, we're going to take a look at the energy you get with these 2 sets from Hornady Critical Defense. The 9mm is a 90 grain. Sorry, the 9mm is a 115 grain. The 380 is a 90 grain. Hornady's American Gunner. Now this is not marketed as a self-defense round, but it is a hollow point and sometimes easier to find and less expensive than the Critical Defense. The 380 is a 90 grain. The 9mm is also 115 grain. These have the same advertised velocity as their Critical Defense partners, but it is a different bullet. For a wildly light, the ARX loads, only 56 grain in 380 and 65 grain in 9mm. The classic Speer Gold Dot coming in at 90 grain in 380, 147 grain in 9mm. So this is definitely a heavy for caliber load versus a standard for caliber load in 380. And then the Remington Ultimate Defense, I want to note these both are intended for full-size handguns and we are shooting them in smaller guns. That could mean they're not getting the burn time they are intended to have, but filming this during the pandemic and social unrest times, ammo is scarce, and this is what we could get our hands on that was matched. The 380 is 102 grain, quite heavy for 380, and the 9mm is 124 grain, which is a more conventional weight. We're going to run these through a chrono first and take a look at the energy generated between these two and let you know how big is the difference between 380 and 9. Also between the 3-inch or 2.96-inch barrel of the SCCY and the 3.5-inch barrel of the Walther CCP. $11.99.
Ooh.
$12.14. $11.74. $12.06. And $11.62. $15.95.
Wow.
$16.35. $16.07. $16.13. $11.64. $11.86. $11.81. $12.17. $11.50. $16.21 with a fireball. $15.46. $15.40. $15.43. $15.69. $9.11. $8.78. $9.22. $8.94. $9.07. $10.57. feed failure. and it didn't stroke far enough to arm the striker. $10.70, $10.70, $10.68, $10.89, $8.95, $8.34, $8.46, $8.79, $8.45, $10.21, $10.08, $10.16, $10.05, $10.08, $8.98, $9.10, $9.28, $8.98, $9.14, $11.07, $10.95, $11.00, $10.98, $8.80, $8.60, $9.19, $8.56, $8.52, $10.66, $10.67, $10.65, $10.61, $8.34, $8.40, $8.27, $8.62, $8.86, $10.71, $10.26, $10.90, $10.42, $10.39, $8.57, $7.94, $8.13, $8.03, $8.22, $10.22, $10.28, $10.29, $9.95, feed failure, $10.12, $9.47, $9.95, $9.70, $9.84, $9.75. Woo! $8.88, $8.98, $9.26, $9.28, $8.99, $9.36, $9.60, $9.59, $9.49, $8.81, $8.60, 864, 865, 860. So in enduring that chrono, you might have noticed that some of these loads looked a little sharper or harsher in the hand than others. Some were rather poppy, some were rather soft. Doesn't matter if it was 380 or 9mm, didn't matter if it was the Sky or the Walther, that being a quad lock system or a piston gas delayed system. So we want to take a look with some of our slow-mo footage and shoot the wildest and the tamest rounds of each caliber back and forth between the two and see if we can tell a difference. We're going to do our best not to intentionally hold tighter or hold looser. Try to give you some side-by-sides to see if that's a difference, because for some people the total energy may not matter. I haven't done the charts yet. I'm not looking at it to see if 9mm blows 380 out of the water or if it's insignificant, but for some people that controllability is more important than how hard they're hitting. It'd be great to do everything with one shot. One shot doesn't always take them out. How quickly does that second shot come back to you, and how shocked are you in the hand before you make that second shot?
So we're gonna start the load feel with the Walther CCP 380. This was the lightest load, the ARX. It's very controllable. So now we're going to use the same light ammo, the ARX, through the Sky. Again, very controllable. A little bit more flip in the Sky. Now we're going to use the same ammo, the ARX, out of the CCP 9mm. The guns do feel very similar in the hand, but I can tell you that recoil is not the same. But not bad, still very controllable. So these are the same light load, the ARX out of the Sky 9mm. I'm going to shoot a little bit faster this time so we can show you on slow-mo better what it looks like. That is not as controllable out of the 9. I felt like I was losing my grip. So now I'm going to shoot the Ultimate Defense. These are the heavier of the loads that we had. This is the CCP in 380. These are 102 grain. Oh, that's a terrible malfunction.
Slide to the rear.
Slide to the rear. Magazine is out.
Okay.
The round is out.
How'd it shoot?
It shot very well. The recoil on these 380s is very pleasant and preferable for me, although I'm getting better with the 9s. Now with the Sky, the same Remington 380 102 grain Ultimate Defense. Those are not bad, but they come down right on my head. Very controllable. I love these little Skies. And now moving up to the 9mm in that same Ultimate Defense, the Walther CCP. Much more stout recoil. And although that recoil is stout, it was still very controllable. So again, with Remington Ultimate Defense, these are 124 grain. This is the Sky 9mm. Those definitely give a bigger punch in this smaller gun. So what did we learn about recoil between 380 versus 9mm? The numbers are probably going to give some very scientific conclusion of one being better than the other. What I was able to conclude from it is there is a lot of subjective material that goes, not material necessarily, but a lot of subjectiveness that can go into that. The shooter, the ammo, the gun, the shooter's experience. I'm sure as many of you have seen in the months past, I reviewed the Sky, and my controllability of that weapon then was not as proficient as it is today, and that's just because I'm more familiar with it. I understand what the feeling is that I'm getting when I'm shooting, so I can better articulate that. And it really breaks down to what is your preference. If those numbers, you know, the hard, factual, scientific numbers at the end of the day that this packs a bigger bang, then go for it. But if that's not what's comfortable for you, is it really worth the risk that you could be taking if you can't control that second shot? It's up to you.
So what we can and can't conclude from this after looking at muzzle energy of these different loads through these different guns, different barrel lengths, different, one's a single stack, one's a double stack, one's hammer fired, one's striker fired, is there is no definitive answer. The caliber, the load, the gun type, the shooter are all equal parts of the puzzle as far as what's shootable. As Tia pointed out, if you don't have good control for that follow-up shot, what good is the follow-up shot? So sadly, as much as we'd love to put to bed the caliber wars and all kinds of other debates, it's not going to happen. It really comes down to you getting out and experiencing and figuring out what works for you.
Experience. That's it. Experience in what you like and what works well.
Thanks for watching.